right. Hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here today. Excited to have an opportunity to share. Excited to take you on another little musical journey today. So, I remember when I was a kid. Yes, I can remember that far back. At least in this particular situation, I was over at my best friend's house and we were in the backyard at night looking through his telescope up into the sky, up into the stars, the moon, and all that cool stuff that we can see through a good telescope. And I remember I had this this intuitive like download. And I go, you know what? I think we're like in the body of God. You know, like the planets and the stars and the earth, they're all like cells within that body. And we're part of that. We're like an expression of that. This is kind of a heavy thought for a 12-year-old kid, right? But that's what I really felt in that moment in looking through that telescope. Man, we're part of something magnificent. We're part of something extraordinary. And I'll never forget because my best friend's dad was right there, who was a pretty hardcore fundamentalist. And I remember him saying, God would never have anything evil in its body. And, I gave him the look that only a 12-year-old kid could look like. That is just like the stupidest thing I've ever heard. But yet, even with that statement, even with that kind of challenging some of my beliefs at that current time, I realized, wow, we're an expression of something magnificent. So when you look to the stars the next time, when you look up into the heavens and you look at the awesomeness of it, the beauty of it, the complexity of it, but yet the organization of it, and then add this thought on that observation. I am an expression of the same field of energy that set this beautiful universe in motion. The same energy, the same divine intelligence that puts the sun in the center and the planets revolving around the sun and orchestrates everything in your body without you having to think about what to do. Oh, I must remember to secrete this enzyme to digest this food. No, there's like this divine intelligence that does that for you. Now, that being said, if we truly are an expression of this field of energy that's unlimited in its potential, why do we struggle? Why do we have such a hard time creating harmonious relationships or vibrant health or open to the prosperity we desire and we deserve, or to transcend reoccurring negative issues that perhaps show up in our lives? Like no matter who we date, the same jerk shows up. Why is that? Why do we create experiences like that? And it begs to ask the question, do we create it, or is it something that happens to us? I think all of us at one time or another, and maybe even today, look at the challenges in our life as something that happens to us. And it causes this frequency to get created, this frequency called victimhood, where somehow we're unable to change out there, where somehow we're unable to change what might be occurring within our body. And I really want to challenge that, because in that space and in that frequency, you cannot code a reality that works. You are the master coder. And from age 0 to 7, you laid down the foundational beliefs that code your life. Everything you picked up from your parents, everything you picked up from your school, everything you might have picked up from the media or from circumstances that happened in that time form the belief structures, literally the OS of your mind. People always ask, how does a computer work? How are you watching me right now on your device or on your computer? How does that work? Where is the internet? Well, the internet exists in ones and zeros and vibrational information. Your OS, the operating system software of your mind, your microprocessor, codes that energy through the programming that it has and puts it up on the screen for you to experience. If you want to change out there in some way, shape, or form, you have to change within you. And I've said this before. Unfortunately, some of us are still running Windows 98. Some of us are running MS-DOS. We are all being called right now to upgrade the operating system software of our minds and to start coding a different reality. And it's not just the minds, it goes into our energy field. I just did an interview this week with an extraordinary lady. It'll be coming up in a podcast episode shortly, where our DNA codes our experience. It magnetizes to us things. I use a little bit different languaging, but it's about creating a resonance that communicates to the field, and then the field mirrors back accordingly. And so we go back to the question, why do we struggle? Why do we have these challenges and these pains and these things in our lives that sometimes it seems so hard to be able to transcend? And with that can come such frustration, such sadness, such anger. But if there's anything I've realized in my journey and going through the ups and downs and loss and struggle and ecstasy and all the beautiful things that make up the human experience, is that I must change within me to change out there. And right now, there's a calling going out to the planet, to the world, to each and every one of us to awaken, to remember who we really are. And so years ago, these scientists discovered these frequencies coming through my music that help people to rise above the static and noise that impedes that connection to the ultimate super internet, that field of consciousness, source energy, God, however you want to define it, and enhances the connection so that you can begin to access all of the information you need to heal your life, to transcend your obstacles, to grow, to evolve, and to further have the beautiful experience of unveiling the masterpiece that's within you. That's who you are. Remember looking to the stars in the middle of the night? You're an expression of that same beautiful, powerful field of energy. The challenge is, so to speak, is that we're all coding a reality with a limited awareness. And we're being called now to expand that awareness, to accelerate our personal evolution. So I wanted just to come on today and to kind of share some of these thoughts, because if you're here watching, whether on live, and hello, Erica, boy, I need like reading glasses. You know, you're being called. There's a reason why you're here. There's a reason why you might be watching the replay. There's a reason why maybe you're feeling a sense of discontent in your life. There's a reason like maybe you're feeling called and drawn to a new direction. There's a reason why you might be having a challenge or an obstacle that no matter how hard you might try, there is no way you can deny it. It is pushing you in a direction. And all disharmony you experience in your body and in the outer world is a notification from the universe that you're holding on to something that's no longer serving you. Something that's not in alignment with the truth of who and what you are. And the problem we have in life is that many of us try to deny it. Many of us ignore it. We get the subtle messages. But if we don't heed the calling, life begins to crank up the volume until it gets your attention, until you can no longer ignore it. And then you have to deal with it from a different perspective. But I can tell you this, in what I learned from quantum physics and hanging around with some really tuned in people, is that we pop in and out of existence multiple times per second. And therefore, we have the ability to change the frequency, change our resonance, change our energy. And right now, we're in the process of learning how to do that. If we could just let go of our little pity parties and our little woe is me and our sense of victimhood and say, you know what, enough is enough, to take a stand. I'm looking to the stars and it reminds me who I really am. I'm not powerless. I'm not helpless. I'm powerful beyond measure. And you know what? I'm making a declaration right now to access more and more of that power every day so that I can truly begin to recreate my life and open to something amazing. So, of course, I just happened to bring a guitar. And I'm wearing my Jesse Cook shirt today, so I'm really in the music mode. One of my favorite guitarists. Google him sometime. You'll dig his vibe. And so I wanted to play a little piece to help us to awaken that, to help us to accelerate, help you to accelerate your personal evolution. You're getting the calling. The universe is tapping you on the shoulder, nudging you, might even be, giving you a little uppercut. And you want to listen before the 2x4 comes out. Let me tell you, I've had that a few times over the course of my life, as I think we all have, right? Heed the calling. Listen to the whispering. Set the intention to let go of the belief structures that are inhibiting your expression, your light, and begin to reveal this beautiful masterpiece. Out of that experience, we evolve. Out of that experience, we become something more. Out of that experience, the universe evolves through each and every one of us. Something we all signed up to come play. Even though sometimes it might seem a little masochistic. But there's something extraordinary that can open up out of this experience for each and every one of us. So with that being said, let's breathe. Bring your attention inward. Focusing on the rising and the falling of your precious breath. As you continue to breathe, ask the question, what do I need to know? What steps do I need to take to embody more and more of who I really am? So just take some nice deep breaths and listen. The universe is always talking to you. And if you take a moment to connect to that space between your thoughts, just might hear its gentle guidance. Gently breathe in these notes. And remember, bring your attention to your heart space. Take a deep breath. Open mouth, breathe it out, let it go. Awesome. Just bring a little movement to the hands, to your feet, stretch a little bit, drink some water. If you have some water, gently bring yourself back. Ooh, I like that. Got me vibing. I don't know about you guys, but that was really cool. Please share your experience in comments. I'd love to hear that and kind of go from there. So yes, we're on this quest. We're on this mission. We're on this journey to unveiling the awesomeness, the power, the divinity that's within us, this harmonious being that is our true inherent nature. You're something extraordinary, and you're being called to a whole nother level of awakening to that. So rather than fight, resist, and curse and deny your challenges and those obstacles that show up in your life, open to the possibility of leveraging them. Talk to them. Inquire with them. What are you here to reveal about me? What are you here pointing to me to let go of? What are you whispering in my ear? Sometimes maybe even hollering. Because we get a little slow a little bit sometimes. We don't listen all the time. We brush those things off our shoulder and pretend we're not getting that message. And it doesn't work over long term. Don't mess with the universe. The universe has a very, very big volume knob. as we all know. I know we all know that to some degree or another. So I wanted to kind of just share this with you. So I've been on this journey now for a long time. And it's just amazing to think it's probably got to be 18 years ago that I got connected to the scientists and found out about the energy in my music and started learning about quantum physics and sound healing and frequency and vibration and how the universe works and how this whole divine planet Earth thing functions and our place and our role within it. And ultimately, how do we shift? How do we transcend? How do we manifest? How do we rise up above the static and noise in our environment, above the static and noise between our own ears, and to begin to start coding a reality that works, coding a reality that's in alignment with the truth of who and what you are. And so over the years, I've gotten these downloads of just tremendous information, images that would show up. I mean, literally geometrical things. I don't ever share this stuff, okay? This is stuff that I've kindly kept to myself, you know? And if anything, I must say, you know, it's like we get the pushings. And for me, it showed up as this sense of discontent arising within me. I was looking at what I was doing and how I was expressing myself, and there was this discontent. Why? What? Wait a second. How's that happening? You know, in 2021, I left my corporate life to find my purpose and to express it into the world. And why here down the road at this point in my juncture am I feeling this sense of discontent? In other words, a disharmony showing up in my life. And in my meditative quiet time, in tuning into that space between all the thoughts that take place in this mad scientist's head, I got that you're only bringing a portion of your soul's purpose to fruition. It's time for you to start sharing what you've learned over the course of that journey, the insight that can literally talk to people's left brains, their egos, and create some pliability so that they can truly open up to more of the truth of who and what they are, to more of shifting their energy, their frequency, and their resonance so they can become more and more in alignment with the truth of who and what they are. So I learned you do not want the 2x4. I don't want the uppercut. I'm listening to maybe it was a shove, maybe it was a little bit more than this. And so I'm bringing that forward. So I'm going to put a note in the chat, and there's a link there. So next week, I am hosting a masterclass that's going to dive into more of what I shared today, and certainly dive into more of an extensive healing process that you'll actually be able to access and download and work with after the class. But it's going to be a chance to look into the mind of Mark Romero and what's been downloading. I've got a really powerful image to share with you and some mindsets and some steps that you can take to change your frequency and to embody you are a frequency creating being. You create through your frequency, not out there working hard and pushing and shoving and rolling rocks up hills. You create within here and your resonance, your vibration. The music and the energy that comes through is going to help you to enhance that connection and help you ultimately to begin to start becoming the composer, the conductor, and the orchestrator of your life on a conscious level. It's time for us to start recreating our lives and to start recreating the world that we live in. So way back when, Dr. Jones took me out to lunch one day, and he started giving me what I would have called back then Conspiracy Theory 101 download. And I thought he was crazy. I thought he was nuts, man. Doc, he must have done too much LSD back in the 60s or something. And it's funny because I said that to him. He said, well, that might be true, but that's besides the point. Okay, whatever, Doc. And he said, no, he goes, humanity is so powerful, so creative. We're being manipulated to create the disharmonious reality that we're experiencing. And in order to change that, we need to rise above the vibrational barriers and the limiting belief systems that we all have to one degree or another. If you're human, you have them. necessary ingredient to condense spirit into physical form and to show up and play the game of humanity, so to speak. Nothing to feel guilty about. But as we shed them, we become more enlightened energetically, weight wise. As we shed those, we begin to remember and unveil the divine masterpiece that's within you and me. So if you're interested in learning more and learning some steps and getting a really cool live created for you healing process, I invite you to click the link, check it out, see if it's something that resonates with you. So that is about all I got to say for the day, but I do want to acknowledge some people. Erica, thank you very much. Phil wants to be called Phil, but yet always uses Philip. We'll have to have another discussion about that. Let's see. Is it Jit? Hopefully I'm pronouncing that. Please excuse me if I hack that up. Debbie, thank you so much for being here. Angela, Phil again, Erica. I want to thank you so much for your comments and everything. If you have any questions, type them in the chat. I will answer. Other than that, thank you for taking the time to share with me today and listening in and breathing and furthering your commitment to shining your light, because who you are matters, and your light has the ability to transform your physical health, the world around you, but it also has the ability to change the world that we're living in. If we all were to shine our light, oh my gosh, we could recreate the world overnight. Thank you so much for taking the time to tune in. Have a harmonious day.